Tonight I want to talk to you about something really important. This has been probably the biggest lesson of the last 2 years of my life, and definitely one of the biggest lessons of the last 6 months of my life. And that is, what is the difference between being a kid and being a grown-up? And then to take it even further, what's the difference between being an employee and being a business owner? And both of those distinctions, what they really come down to is, what are the consequences to your actions, and how directly and how hard do you feel the consequences? Think of it this way. When you're a kid, if you mess up, most of your mistakes aren't all that important, and there's someone there, be it a parent or a teacher, that can bail you out of your mistake, right? If you mess up and you get sent to suspension or detention or whatever the heck, right? The worst thing that's gonna happen is your parents scold you a little bit, and then you get on with your life, right? Let's say you do a little like minor property damage by accident as a kid, something like that. Okay, your parents can probably pay for it, your parents can probably handle it, etc. Okay, so whatever mistakes you're gonna make, there's some authority figure, some adult that can help you, get you through it. And really the consequence, to you at least, I mean, it may cost them money, but the consequence to you is more in terms of like approval or blame, in terms of like your social standing in a relationship, but you don't feel the direct consequences nearly so strong. It's the same thing a lot of times if you are an employee versus a business owner, right? So if you're an employee and you fail at your job, but at least it looks like you tried hard and you make a good impression, you have some sympathy, you know, probably nothing really bad's gonna happen to you, right? You know, you're still seen in a good light. If you're the boss, if you're the head of the company and you fuck up, the company may tank and it may be done, right? Or if you can't fucking make payroll, you may be just completely fucked, okay? And it may just all come apart. And it's the fact that the buck stops with you, right? When you're an adult, there's no like higher authority to turn to. Hey dad, bail me out. Hey mom, bail me out. When you're the owner of a company, you can't be like, hey boss, look, this messed up. Can we have a redo? Can you get me some more resources? You're fundamentally responsible and the consequences come down on you. And this isn't a pretty thing, right? This isn't a fun thing in a lot of ways, right? It's a lot nicer to be a kid. Right? I have a child myself, and I'll tell you this, I'm gonna raise him to be a kid for a very long time. Right? Now I'm gonna teach him responsibility, I'm gonna teach him the skills to be an adult, and I'm gonna gradually wean him into adulthood, but I want him to have a childlike period. I want him to have a period as a kid because number one, that's an amazing time in your life, and number two, it's important to have that childlike period so that you can make mistakes. Right? If you were born right into adulthood, that would really suck. You'd have no chance to figure out who you are, no chance to try a bunch of things and fail at them and learn from them and grow from them. And some kids have that, right? Some kids have like poor parents and they have to take responsibility and start like carrying the family from a young age, and that's very difficult for them. And in a way that's very tragic because they've been robbed of their youth, right? So youth and being a kid is a beautiful thing. However, at a certain point in time, if you want to get results, if you want to step up in the world, if you want to make big things happen in your life, if you want girls to respect you and be drawn to you, you need to be an adult. Because in the same way that it's nice to be a kid, a girl wants to be able to be a kid around you. She wants you to be that rock and that anchor that she can trust, and she can treat almost like her father or her parents in a way, right? And in the sense that she can rely on you. It's a nice, fun thing to have. Now, ideally, in a perfect relationship, right, you're the adult and she's an adult and you can both rely on each other, and that's what you really want, right? But no girl wants a little boy she can't rely on or a little boy that she's constantly having to support and bail out and take care of instead of being taken care of, or at least having it be mutual and even, all right? So if you want to grow up and you want girls to respond to you as a man, it's very important that you fundamentally and mentally decide that you are a man, decide that you are going to take responsibility for actions, and decide that the results matter. It's not about like, where does the blame go, or is it my fault or not? And you have to understand that there are times when it's not okay to mess up. For example, again, going back to I have a kid, right? With my child, if he's in a dangerous situation, I better the fuck be there as his father, right? Because I mess up one of those, that's the end of it. Right? That's a big fucking responsibility, right? And that's something you have as an adult that you don't have as a kid, right? Now you have other people depending on you. If you're a business owner and you fuck up, that could mean your employees getting laid off. It could mean you have to fire people, right? I mean, these people that have trusted you, put their faith in you, if you mess up, you are letting them down, right? So the consequences become much more severe, and that's why you get the big rewards. That's why there are so many rewards associated potentially with being a business owner, is because a lot of people don't want to do it. People don't want that risk. People say they want it. People say they want to run their own company. People say they want to step up and be in charge of this, that, and the other, but they don't really want it because there's a responsibility that comes with that. And there's a possibility of failure that comes with that. A lot of people say they want to be an entrepreneur, say they want to run their own company, but fundamentally, they're a lot happier, a lot safer, and a lot more comfortable getting a paycheck from daddy boss than being the adult themselves and being in that father figure role and taking care of it. So what I'm really saying here is, if you want the big things in life that come with being an adult, running your own show, being in charge of things, you need to understand the responsibility that comes with it, and you need to not only accept it, but embrace it. Understand that that is the life you've taken on gladly and happily, and you need to step up into that role, all right? And there's no one to blame, there's no excuses, no one fucking cares. No one cares. If you're the boss and you fuck up and the company goes under, every one of your employees are gonna be pissed at you whether it was your fault or not. And guess what? It was your fault, okay? Understand that. If you're in charge, shit goes wrong, it was your fault. It was, okay? It may have been other people's fault too, but it was your fault because the buck stops with you. And that's the mentality you need to have. Similar in game, right? When you're with a girl, right, you need to be the decision maker. You don't have to make the decisions all the time, but you have to be ready to make them. If she wants to make decisions, by all means, great. If she doesn't, you need to be there and step up and do it. If you're, orchestrating a poll, orchestrating logistics, you need to have that certainty and that leadership and take responsibility for the outcome, and that's when people are gonna gravitate towards you and follow you. Okay? So if you want people to trust you, if you want people to follow you, if you want big things in life, one of the fundamental things you have to do is accept that you no longer have the luxury of being a child and passing the buck. You no longer have the luxury of saying, oh, daddy will bail me out. Oh, my boss will bail me out. You have to fundamentally take the responsibility on your own shoulders, and if you fail, it is on you. That said, if you succeed, it's on you to a much greater degree as well. So what you're really doing when you step up and become an adult, when you become the boss, you're magnifying your life, right? The consequences are much worse. The successes are much more incredible. So you need to make this decision. And I'm not saying that everyone should make this decision. A world of all bosses would not be a world that would work. You need employees in the world. So not everybody should be a boss. But if you do want big things for yourself in life, if you do want to step up in life, you need to understand you're gonna have to take bigger risks, and you're gonna have to take responsibility for those risks. You have to understand that you will fail a little bit. You want to mitigate those failures. You want to make sure that you have that ability to learn, but understand you're in charge, it's on you. Once you've made that decision, it's gonna improve your business, it's gonna improve your life in a lot of ways, and I promise you, when you make the decision that you are the adult, you're gonna see women responding to you in a fundamentally different way. I see this shifting, guys. A lot of guys that come into the game in their early 20s, and they're still fundamentally a boy. They fundamentally care what their parents think. They fundamentally care what their teachers think, right? That sort of stuff. And they fundamentally care way too much what the girl thinks. They care more about the girl liking them than they do about the girl being with them, right? And that's a problem. You get to a certain age and you say, I'm in charge. I'm leading this interaction, and the girl will fundamentally respond to you differently because she sees you're no longer a little boy, you are a man. If you want success in life, at some point, you need to leave behind the little boy and be a man. And it's not entirely pleasant, but you need to do it.